Hello, a very warm welcome to this special edition of Middle East Matters. I'm Sanam Shantier. This week, we take a look at whether violence has deterred resilient travellers from the region. While some may have been put off, others are still keen to explore the Islamic world's mystery and riches. There are even several surprising success stories. But first, let's take a look at some statistics.
Egypt has long been a major tourist destination, but its tourism sector has suffered from political instability and terrorist attacks. There were 15 million visitors in 2010, an all-time record, but just 5 million in 2016. Before the war, tourism in Syria was a fast-growing industry. Between 2007 and 2010, the number of visitors practically doubled, reaching over 8.5 million tourists the year before the conflict began. Jordan, meanwhile, is surrounded by conflict zones. Following the Arab Spring, visitor numbers to the archaeological site of Petra dropped by half in just 4 years. Turkey initially benefited from the flow of tourists avoiding the Arab Spring countries, but since 2016, a series of terror attacks have crippled tourism. Last year, Istanbul saw a 25% dip in tourism. But not all countries in the region have suffered the same fate. In a decade, Israel's tourism industry grew by 30%. Each time conflict emerges, visitors avoid the country, but come back in stronger numbers the following year. Tourism in Iran has also seen considerable growth following last year's lifting of sanctions. The country now aims to triple its revenue generated by inbound tourism in the next 10 years.
To the ancient land of pyramids, world wonders that travellers have been staying away from since the country was rocked by revolution in 2011. Now, despite a period of recovery, the tourism sector, which is a backbone of the economy, has been given yet another kiss of death. This after a string of attacks on holidaymakers.
March 2017 near Aswan. Many tourists are again docked along the banks of the Nile, to the amazement of this guide.
There haven't been this many boats since the revolution.
After 5 years of declining numbers, the tourism industry seemed to be on the rebound. 1.7 million visitors came to Egypt in the first quarter of 2017. This French family chose to make a long-held dream a reality, visiting the temples of ancient Egypt and sailing on the Nile. Nearly deserted after the 2011 revolution, the Temple of Philae was once again filled with people, to the great relief of the guides and others who rely on the tourism industry.
We didn't see a single tourist during the day. The numbers were really very low. Today's better, but we're afraid that everything will fall apart if there's a problem. We'll be the first to suffer.
July 14th, the seaside resort of Hurghada at the Red Sea was the target of an attack. 3 European tourists were stabbed to death. The suspect said he was influenced by jihadist teachings. Foreign tourists were the main target, and other similar attacks have been carried out in recent years. In January 2016, a shooting took place at another hotel in the same seaside resort. In October 2015, an airplane carrying Russian tourists departing from Sharm el-Sheikh crashed in the Sinai Desert. It would take Cairo several months before acknowledging that it was a terrorist attack. And it's not just tourists who've been targeted. In April 2017, a double bombing was carried out at a Coptic church, leaving 40 people dead. And several hundred law enforcement and military personnel have been killed by extremist groups. The worsening security situation has caused the American, French, and German embassies to issue travel warnings for their citizens. Once again, local guides worry about their livelihoods.
The effect of the terrorist attacks is enormous, but it hasn't been felt right away. When this happens, it has an impact on reservations. And while not immediate, it will be felt the following season.
Meanwhile, Egypt is working hard to reassure anxious travelers. The government has declared a state of emergency and announced increased security at all tourist facilities. But after the string of recent attacks, the goal of welcoming 10 million tourists in 2017 may well be out of reach.
Now, this is probably not the first place you think of when you're planning a holiday this summer. But with its majestic desert and crystal clear waters, Oman has become known as the jewel of the region. As Luke Shrego explains, this is partly because of the Sultanate's tourism authorities ramping up promotional campaigns.
Long sandy beaches, lush palm trees, so far so good, but what makes this a holiday destination are the 82 luxury villas that have gone up. This is Oman's way of breaking into the tourism market. You can even arrive by air, and we don't mean on a helicopter.
The very nice combination of dry mountains. So what do you think about my office?
And this is just the arrival. The hotel has gone all out to give guests the best possible experience.
And welcome to Villa 8. This is one of our beachfront villas here at Six Senses Ziggy Bay. And as you can see, it has a beautiful swimming pool and we're right on the beachfront.
Each villa has its own pool, one that can be completely customised for every guest's individual taste.
Actually, not only is it heated, but it's also cooled. In the very hot summer months, then we chill the pools to bring the water temperature to a very pleasant temperature.
All this for just €1,500 a night. It's not small change, but the hotel's pushing its environmental credentials to win over any waverers. All the interior fittings and furniture are made from local palm wood. The transport's electric and bicycles are freely available. 80% of the fruit and vegetables are grown on site too.
We've got spring onions, chives, different types of lettuces. We grow corn.
The arid environment means no water's wasted on flowers or landscaping. There's even a desalination plant on site to provide for all needs, from filling the pools and bathroom taps to drinking. There's no waste with packaging either. 700 bottles a day are cleaned and refilled.
Only glass bottles, still and sparkling, both are glass bottles.
It's all part of a major drive in the Sultanate to promote Oman as a year-round destination for tourism. Authorities have been ploughing billions of euros in funding into major developments, from luxury facilities and resorts nestled in the mountains for hiking, to even more new beachside developments for people seeking sand and sea. With the country set to host the second United Nations Tourism Conference later in the year, it's small wonder new developments have sprung up close to the capital, Muscat. Golf, beaches, private marinas. Oman has its eye on foreign investment in a big way.
We have 3 different designs. We have the Tompazi, the Greek Tompazi, we have the Italian Santini, and we have the Riyadh Oman.
Real estate is big business, with properties like this going for €1 million.
This is Rihan Residence Villa, a 5-bedroom villa with a contemporary design.
And if the amenities aren't enough, foreign buyers have even more incentives, including a lifelong visa and a tax exemption.
Oman as a country, as an investment and tourist destination, and distinguished from other parts of the region.
People from around 70 different countries have already taken up residence, attracted by the opportunities one of the most stable countries in the Middle East has to offer.
We turn our attention to a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Turkey known for its white, cotton-like travertines and mineral-rich thermal waters. Pamukkale is in the western town of Denizli, and it draws tourists from home and abroad. It's even become one of the country's most popular attractions. ESPL Dario.
Its beauty comes to life at dawn, when the sun rises over the glistening white terraces and pools, and the warm turquoise waters. The geological phenomenon that is Pamukkale, literally Cotton Castle in Turkish, is a truly spectacular natural wonder. Formed over the millennia from limestone, deposited by the mineral-rich waters from 17 nearby hot springs.
You have got water at your home. You have got calcium at your home at the top water. The difference is here, in 1 liter, you have got 2.5 grams of calcium and other minerals.
Pamukkale has been on UNESCO's World Heritage List since 1989. And with over 2 million visitors annually, it remains Turkey's single most visited attraction. To preserve the site, local authorities have limited public bathing to a small number of pools. But Pamukkale's reputation dates back centuries. On top of this very hill, over 2,000 years ago, Romans built the spa city of Hierapolis. The well-preserved ruins and pools and the supposedly healing properties of its water has long attracted tourists and locals alike.
Coming here does me a great deal of good. After my accident, I was severely disabled. Here, I was able to regain some mobility.
Others come for a mud bath and a natural skin treatment.
When I scrub this on my skin, it erases all the imperfections and pimples.
As the setting sun paints the white limestone hill in pink and gold, Turkey's Cotton Castle bears witness to the kind of mesmerizing beauty only nature can create.
Well, that's it for this special edition of Middle East Matters on tourism in the region. If you've missed anything, you can catch up on both Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for tuning in.